Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Car Mechanic Simulator 2018, where today we're going to be redoing a Mazda RX-3. This might well be the last video in Car Mechanic Sim, because views haven't been very good. They were good last week, but this week they're just after falling off the face of the planet, so we'll just disassemble this RX-3 as we go along here. We'll get this up to 100% if we can. As close as we can get at the very least. Interior disassembly. There we go. And I never did empty my inventory after last time. I think that's everything out of the car. So do a run around and double check. Yes. We'll need the welder from over here. From Master Electric. We'll get that to car lifter A. We'll just repair up the bodywork. There we go. That's nice and neat. We'll start taking apart the engine here now. So brakes are working come out. The oil filter on the rotary is on top, interestingly. That's different. This is the first rotary I've actually taken apart. So I don't know how well this is going to go. It's got mix and match parts. There's a V8 overhead valve part in there. Intake manifold off to one side. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people laughing at the actual name of the engine. Air fan can come out. And oh, this is a two-part rad. There we go. So the name of this type of engine, how do I get this bit? Okay, so Serpentine B needs to come off before Serpentine A can. And yeah, that idler roller needs to come out before anything else can. So that can come out. Now this. And now this. Now the V8 crankshaft pulley, which inexplicably is in a rotary. A V6 power steering pump, okay. The ignition wires, clip B. Ignition distributor cap, distributor rotor, distributor. The 4 spark plugs. You'll see why there's 4 spark plugs in a minute, hopefully. Idler rotor B, which appears to be... oh no, it's not floating, it's just out in metal stock. Alternator can come off. The fuel filter almost definitely looks like it's floating. Water pump can come off. It's quite a large water pump actually, wow. Oh yes, this is arms sticking out of it for some bizarre reason. Timing cover. And hopefully I can get the majority of this out. Crankshaft counterweight, a sprocket, and I think the next thing out has to be the oil pan. Yes. Let's get over this side. Raise it up. We can take apart pretty much the rest of the car from down here. Oil pan can come out. I don't know if there's oil in this. We'll find out. No oil. And the crankshaft. Oh, I've got to lower the car again. Oh, I hate the way you have to raise and lower the car at random, and I kind of wish there was a way to speed up how quickly you could. So there's one rotor. This is a Wankel engine. And there should be another... oh no, the crankshaft housing needs to come out now. Apparently it's just a single rotor. You can have multiples, I believe. Like the Mazda 787B. Hang on, to get the crankshaft out, I've got to pull out this rotor housing. But to get the bit... what? Am I missing something here? Is this engine actually working? Let's go back into the engine real quick. So to take out the intermediate housing, I need to take out the crankshaft. But to take out the crankshaft, I've got to take out the rotor housing that's behind the intermediate housing. Oh, I've got to pull apart the back of the engine. I see. That's kind of a silly design. So, I've got to disassemble the gearbox. That's kind of a weird design, actually, that you've got to disassemble the gearbox to disassemble part of the engine. Like, I don't know how much I like that. And every car has the exact same... well, I guess every car would have at least a similar clutch assembly. I don't know if they'd have all identical ones like in Car Mechanic, but... So now I've got to drop the car down again, because I've now got the gearbox off and I've got to... Oh my god. The trouble I go to just to disassemble a rotary. Because I wanted to. So now the rear side housing block can come off, and... Oh, this is a twin rotor. The rotor housing... And now I've got to raise it up again to take out the crankshaft and front of the engine. So up we go once again. We'll disassemble the suspension in a moment. So crankshaft come out, this will have to go out from the engine bay. Oh my god. What kind of lunatic decided this stuff? Like crankshaft you have to pull it out from the bottom, but the everything else has to come out from the top. Let's repair what we can here. I'm just gonna spam click. Let's see how we do. Looking like we're gonna get a lot of stuff repaired. Got a 95% chance and a cup of tea, so that's... I feel like a true mechanic with my cup of tea and computer. That's I might... Oh, I don't know how I want to put this car back together when it is going back together. What? Oh, bearing. Front wheel hub. The lights seem to have gotten brighter of late. There's been a lot of progress on fixing the problems with the game, but some newer problems seem to have been introduced. For example, it's for some reason impossible to get the game to work with XSplit, which is my streaming software choice. So if I'm streaming this game, I have to use OBS, which is annoying. I heard last night that Mirrorless Action now no longer works with the game. I can only presume that NVIDIA Shadowplay has given up the ghost with Car Mechanic as well. And that all stems from one small thing, and I don't exactly know why OBS is working so well with it. Granted, it does look like there's a bit of a frame rate issue coming in now. But Car Mechanic, for some reason, is horrifically optimized. And by that I mean it's literally using up all of every CPU, or every GPU. Every graphics card is pushed to its limits by Car Mechanic, no matter how good or bad it is. I've had friends with 1080s say, oh, my graphics card's running at 100%. I've got a 980, it's running at 100%, so there's definitely something going on weird with the game, and the developers, Red Dot Games, for whatever reason, don't seem to be addressing that issue. Did I forget to take the battery out? Yes. I'll take the battery out and recharge it later then. Let's take the fuel tank out. Don't like how every car has the same fuel tank. That's something that irritates me. I think we'll try putting slick tires on this and see how we get on. I think that'd be kind of fun. You can take out... What? You can take off the wheel hub before you take off the... Yeah, that makes sense. Some of the orders of work don't make any sense at all. For example, you can take off a wheel hub before you take off, you know, the brakes that are mounted to said wheel hub. That raises some questions. Also, you can build up an entire engine without having to touch the underbody. And the like, I'll do it again just to prove that it wasn't a weird glitch that I got just the once. Like, in reality, you'd have to take off the brake shoes and drum wheel cylinder to remove this wheel hub, because they're mounted directly to it. In Car Mechanic? Oh, no, sure, you can just leave them floating in midair. You gotta take off the brake shoes to access the cylinder, but by that point it's already floating in midair. So, that's a bit silly. I've seen reviews of the game where people say, oh, you know, it's great, but apart from the problems. And that's true. But one of the major problems just isn't being addressed, it seems, and that's the optimization and the issues with recording it. I don't know if it ever will. Why has this got a V8 muffler on it? Interesting design decisions by Mazda. And the devs, I guess, for the most part. Can I build... There are no items to work with. Well, no, there is, because I don't know how the engine crane actually works. It says you can start building from scratch, but I mean, I've got all the parts of the engine here. But nope, you can't use the engine crane because reasons. Also, something that genuinely irritated me the other day when I saw this. I'm going to come over here to point it out. This here is the dyno room. You can see that it's fully implemented, fully modeled in the garage. If I come over to a toolbox, bring this up to level 30, expands your garage, adds paint shop, dyno, and another lifter. The developers on Steam in the discussion pages said this was supposed to be DLC. Or functioning dyno was supposed to be DLC. Yeah, no, you don't add something to the base game and advertise it as part of the base game and then say, oh no, it's actually going to be DLC. That's not how this works, Red Duck. Why are there floating nuts? Also, apparently I repaired the fuel filter. That's not how any of this works, Red Dot Games. And I got a key for this from the publishers, from Playway. So I'm criticizing a game that I literally got for free. Why am I doing this? For you guys. For the players, for consumers. I don't see why, just because I, didn't have to pay for the game, why that would... No, that isn't 100%, is it? That's 98%. Whoops. Yeah, 99% is good enough. It's close enough, but we'll need to get a rotor. Come on! I swear some parts of this game are getting more and more unstable. Rotor. Apparently this is the exact same engine as the RX-7. Front side housing. Oil filter, did I somehow manage to... Yes, I did somehow manage to repair the oil filter. Alternators at 100%. I think some of these parts are still broken. I don't want to attach the radiator just yet. I know you want me to attach the radiator, game. I don't want to just now. Crankshaft counterweight. Crankshaft counterweight needs to be replaced. So the idea behind the rotary engines is they're 4-stroke engines, but not 4-stroke engines at the same time. They're called Wankel engines, and they've got a rotary motion. They're kind of, I guess, 2.5-stroke. There's none for a rotary. What timing chain does this want? A rotary. Oh, there is a rotary timing chain. Why do I 2 rotary timing chains in my inventory. 3. Interesting. We're gonna get this RX-3 up to 100% and beautiful once again. Distributor. Go in. Rotor can go in. Cap can go on. And I'll need 2 times clip B. Which I only have 1 of, because of course I've only got 1 clip B. Clip B. Apply that. Put that on. No. Arm. For rotary B. There we go, that's the 100% one. And we'll need arm A for rotary A. Arm A, rotary A. I'm honestly not sure what kind of rotary engine this even is anymore, because most of the parts are rotary B, and then you've got some V6 parts, like this power steering pump. Which I've inexplicably got 2 of. And then some V8 parts as well, which... Okay. Is it idler roller B or A I want? B. I probably need like 2 or 3 of them. So we'll just get 2 of them for now. Idler B. There we go. V8 crankshaft pulley, I mean, what? The one joy of the rotary engine being as flat as it is that I don't need to worry about putting the car up and down like musical Mazda right now. Yeah, I need to get serpentine belt. And it's going to be the rotary A serpentine belt. Okay, I'm going to just get both rotary A serpentine belts and hope that they're correct. Idler roller A. Oh yeah, I need to put the fan on. Nope. Serpentine belt B is for rotary B. Serpentine belt B. What? Well, I literally can't get that part, so that old one's gonna have to go on. So there's another bug that's, you know, makes it impossible to get a Mazda RX-3 up to 100% because one of the parts literally doesn't exist. Carburetor's gonna be fine. Like, it's little problems like that that kind of take, well, I say kind of, definitely take away from the game, because it's nonsensical. There's missing parts, there's parts that clearly could just be reversed, but for whatever reason, you can't put them in backwards. And it detracts. On so many levels it detracts from the game. And it's a real shame. Because this is a fantastic game and there's some really awesome stuff in it. But it just... The problems, I need 2 more clip A's. I can kind of see why people are turning away from videos in the game, because the problems are starting to creep up and just not be damaging to the game per se, but just being an annoyance. I need to recharge the battery as well. And it's a shame. Let's just get the battery charged up while I'm working over here. I'm going to turn this into a mega donk, by the way. I'm going to put ridiculously huge engine stuff onto it. See, anything else I can actually attach while it's sat here? The radiator, of course, and the fan housing, which is broken. Radiator, fan housing. Just fan housing, okay. Yes, please. That's that all mounted up. Battery should be fully charged now. I've heard that the wheel balancer that's been rebalanced in the game to not take as long, which is good because you could mount four tires in the amount of time that thing took to run. And it just kind of grinds you to a halt after a certain point. Let's raise the car up. We're going to build up the suspension. So people don't get angry. Me not having cross members and whatnot in the car. Can the oil pan just mount straight on? Of course it can, because there's nothing... Yeah. Some of these parts seem to have duplicated, which is interesting. I forgot to mount up the spark plugs and all that sort of stuff. I can worry about that later. Okay, so I need to get front exhaust section. So front exhaust section... for rotary B, which does actually exist, so that's a bonus. And okay, so apparently there's just like holes in the engine that are perfectly fine. That should bolt on. I am 100% sure that should bolt on. I misspelled sway bar. Is it B or A I need? A. There we go. And the steering rack, which is in a very awkward position. I'll have to rebuild the gearbox, so let's just go into the gearbox section here and get one of each of these. Because these are invariably broken. Every single time I put a gearbox together, it's all the parts need replacing. There we go. Now we'll get to find out if the gearbox itself is good. Oh, release bearing. Forgot about the clutch release. Gearbox is perfect. Fantastic. And apparently you don't... Oh, that's where the floating nuts were from. Fantastic. I can't even put on the drive shaft at the moment. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to accept that. I need 2 inner tie rods and 2 outer tie rods. I'm also gonna need to empty out my inventory at some point because I've just got a bunch of junk set in there at the moment. Inner tie rod. Oh, rubber bushings, which I should have. I've got at least 4. I've got to buy another 3. I'm just gonna buy another like 10 rubber bushings because I'm gonna need them. There is never a shortage of rubber bushings needed in cars. We can put in the inner tie rod, front steering knuckle, outer tie rod, good knuckle cover, which we'll need to buy 1 of. Get to that in a minute. Brake discs are good enough. Brake pads, good enough. Caliper and cylinder should both be perfect. I need to get a cylinder probably. And the front shock absorber I'll need to build in a bit. Lower suspension arm. Just make do with these parts. I'm not gonna buy more overbushings now. I just can't be bothered. The shocks I will need to build up. But the honestly, the rubber bushings being in the 90% range is fine. Outer tie rod, go on. Yes, I forgot to buy a front axle knuckle cover. Front axle knuckle cover. Just one of these, please, storekeeper. I'll probably need to buy a new brake caliper cylinder as well. Wheel hub bearing. I need to buy a new one of those. 82% is not good enough. Wheel hub bearing. Which I've actually, come to think of it, probably forgotten on the other tire. On the other wheel. Have I forgotten to put the wheel hub bearings and stuff on? Over here. Yes, I have. Why am I in no way surprised that I've forgotten the wheel hub bearing? Wheel hub bearing, go on. Wheel hub cap. Go on. And I've presumed it won't let me put on the front shock without everything attached there. That's fine. Brake disc is fine. Brake pads are good enough. Wheel hub cap is good enough. Caliper. Yeah, I need to buy a new caliper cylinder. Brakes. Brake caliper cylinder. Just throwing this car together as quickly as I possibly can. Middle muffler. You can go in like that. And let's leave the car up there for a second because I actually do want to get the shocks in. So that's... what do I need to put in here? Front shock absorber, cap, and front spring. Okay, so suspension. Front shock absorber, I'll need 2. Front spring, I'll need 2. Front shock absorber cap, I'll need 2. And it is over to the spring puller we go. To join these up. And just that's gone wonky. That's not right. Apparently, yeah, the front shock absorbers are a bit broken. GG. So let's see if I can at least get to a point where it'll want me to mount the front wheels up. Oh, I see why. It's because I don't have the sway bar front end links in. So, sway bar, whoops, sway bar front end link A, and I'll need 2 of these. Because it mounts up onto the side of the shock. And that should now, yes, okay, fantastic. So there's just the front shock and the sway bar link that was missing. Which I don't think you could work that from underneath the car. You wouldn't actually need the that on for a tire to go on. Rear muffler's fine. That's fine. Let's get down to this end of the car now. Rear shocks are broken. Suspension, rear shock absorber B. Which I'll need 2 of. Comically, this is I think a better suspension setup on the front than a lot of cars do in game. Can I mount the drive shaft? I can mount the drive shaft. Fantastic. Now, there's no fuel in the, well, I say that. Fuel in the fuel tank doesn't matter because the only liquid in the game is oil. You know, for true simulation, you don't put fuel in the tank, you can just drive off. You need oil in the engine though. Oh boy, do you need oil in the engine. It won't let you drive the car otherwise. You know, the engine does not function without oil. Which isn't true. Wheel up for front wheel cylinder, solid rear drive axle. You know, some of the stuff that you can't run the cars without doesn't make sense. Brake drum's fine. Yeah, and you have to fully build the front suspension for the wheels to go on, but the rear suspension, nah, it's good enough when it's only half together. Doesn't need the leaf springs, but it won't let you drive it without them. Despite the fact that it's got a shock absorber already mounted. Yeah, you got effectively a suspension in the shock absorber. It wouldn't last long, but it would act as a suspension. Let's get... Oh wait, is that it there? Rear axle knuckle housing B. Yay! It's right there. Do I remember all the small rubber bushings? I did, I believe. Wheel hub, drum wheel cylinder, rear drive axle. 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. Brake shoe. Probably getting nuts and bolts backwards. Brake drum's fine. That's that together. Fuel tank can go in. That's good enough for me. Fuel pump is perfect. Now we need to bring the car down to get the rest of the engine built up. Because I forgot bits. I'm stuck against the welder. Okay, so what I forgot was 4 spark plugs. 1, 2, 3, 4. I actually forgot most of the ignition system, so whoops. Just put new ones in because they're just as cheap as the old ones. And the ignition wires. And that's literally all I forgot in the engine system. Those 2 little things. Yeah. That was a bit of a stupid thing to do. Right. Now we need to come up with rim. Well, we can work on the body, I guess. So let's... this is going to be expensive. This is going to be expensive. RX-3. Okay, so this is the front left fender. We need one of these. Because when we mount all these parts on, we're then going to have to paint it afterwards. How is the hood? The hood is fine. The front left door is fine. The front end is fine. Oh, this is getting less expensive suddenly. Front right fender is fine. Front right door is fine. The windows are probably... Yeah, I'll need to get windows. The trunk is fine. The rear bumper is fine. Okay, so we'll need to get windows and lights. And how are the mirrors? That one's perfect. This door apparently has no mirror. Does that door seriously have no... Okay, I'm just going to accept that. So we'll need to... Oh, front bumper is fine. Headlight, fine. Oh, this is getting cheaper. Okay, so the left headlight needs to be replaced. So, left headlight. You can go in. The tail lights. Okay, left tail light needs replacing. Another pet peeve. The scroll wheel does not work in the menus. Scroll wheel on the mouse doesn't work on the tablet or the computer, which is very irritating and annoys me. So this tail light can go in. And now we just need to swap in the windows. So body window, rear window, front window, door window. There is only one mirror on the car. That's a really interesting thing. That must be just... I guess because this thing was a sports car back in the day. That window just constantly... Okay, that window's just constantly going to hover outside the car entirely. That's another bug. I mean, Playway have said to people that the DLC cars aren't exactly finished. Right, let's make this into a mega donk. Let me see what is a Mazda looking rim. Mazda looking rim, Mazda looking rim. Classic 18, 25. Don't want 5 wheels. For them. Tires. Stick tire B. 4 of these. 25 inches. As wide as they can go. And with as high a profile as they can go. Okay, 25. Oh dear. Oh dear. Dave's come up with a stupid thing. There are no items to work with. No, there are items to work with. Oh, these are the smaller tires. Whoops. Wait, is it classic? Is it classic 18 I was using? Yes. Okay, good. The slick tires. Yes, please. Oh dear. These are going onto an RX-3. This thing's gonna have all of the grip in the world ever. But it's going to be incredibly silly. I wonder if the... Oh, maybe the tire bands changes are coming in the next update. Because it seems to take an incredibly long amount of time, because I've now got all 4 tires mounted, but need to balance them still. So this can get... This... Oh my god! The wheels are going to be bigger than the car. That... Perfect! Oi, take. Take. Balance. This. Yes. The bottom of the car is just going to be all tire. Oh my god. What have I created? What even have I created? Let's take a screenshot of that nonsense. Oh dear. Landy's going to shout at me again. People are going to shout at me in the comments for this. I'm gonna have to take this thing out on the test track, aren't I? I will paint this as well, so don't worry. Seeing as it's getting slicks, it's gonna get a very specific paint job as well. We need to put oil in. Yep. Needs more oil. Yeah, that's gonna do it for oil. Is that the final tire? That's the final tire balanced. Oh boy, am I going to get some hate in the comments for this. Mazda RX-3 classic car. What do you do that make it into a mega donk? You're gonna probably be more angry with what I'm about to do, though. Let's bring this to the... Let's bring this to the paint shop. In what I can only describe as super donk configuration. And paint it with... Oh, this is 6 different liveries. Which one of these looks dumbest? Actually, I like livery 1. Let's go with livery 6. And then... hue can go down to that. Saturation can go up to that. And brightness... Nope, saturation can go down. There we go. I'm going to get this in chameleon. So it's a beautiful mishmash of absolutely every color ever. Let's just turn the saturation a little bit. There we go. Actually... Let's see, can I make this look... Oh, yes! Perfect. There we go, the MazDonk RX-3. We've got to take this thing out on the test track. You might have noticed that I've not even bothered to check how much this thing is worth. There's a reason for that. I'm not particularly interested. This is just me having a bit of fun. So oh, what have I created? Oh, they have changed the engine sounds. There was an engine sounds update today or yesterday. Let's just get a nice screenshot of this thing looking majestic. And let's see how it spins up the tires. It doesn't. I mean, it's definitely got... It's definitely got grip. Definitely got grip. Which you'd kind of hope it does with tires this city. Slick tires this city especially. See how she donuts. Not particularly well, mainly because of the racing slicks. Yeah, she just... Yeah. No donuts for this car. And... I mean... It drifts. It definitely drifts. And whoops. Yeah. The MazDonk RX-3. Or the Mazda MazDonk. Everything's in perfect condition, however. How much is that monstrosity actually worth? Because I wouldn't pay much for it. $42,000. Well, that was definitely a thing. I'll leave you guys by saying I've been RainbowDave. You've been watching Car Mechanics Simulator 2018. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, stay safe and goodbye.